Chris Allen, and this is the Chris Allen MMA show. Today I'm being joined by one of the UK's biggest up-and-comers at the moment, especially up in the northwest of the country. He's a professional MMA star. He's had wins at Cage Warriors Academy. It's Mr. Matthew Camilleri. Mr. Camilleri, how are you?
All good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. I think we're all in the same situation, aren't we, still in lockdown and things like that. So what have you been up to during this time?
Nothing much. I mean, training as much as I can with what I can. Just going out maybe to buy some groceries and just watching Netflix and playing a lot of Formula One. That's all I can do, and watch some previous fights from other fighters.
Yeah, but that's what I'm finding I'm doing. I'm watching back old MMA cards because I just haven't had a chance to watch one for so long. It's killing me. It's only been a month, but that's long enough without any MMA cards for sure. So what are you doing at home then, training wise? Because a lot of fighters have got their own different training regimes, makeshift gyms. What are you able to do at home and outside the gym to keep fit?
So usually it's it's the routine. So mostly is minimum 400 push-ups every day with the 7 kilogram weight vest, 400 squats with the pyramid going on. So 1, 2, shadow boxing with some with the weight vest and all. Resistance band. So it's like shoulders, arms. Mostly it's for the upper body. Rowing. And some wrestling drills, which I like to do, like shadow wrestling, like almost like shadow boxing, but shadow wrestling, it's a bit different. And yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's pretty impressive, to be fair, man. That's a lot more than a lot of people I've been speaking to are doing at the moment. So you said you're doing like rowing and stuff like that. Do you have like rowing machines and stuff at home, like a few bits of equipment?
No, it's just the well, this is what I have. Like the resistance band. So
Oh, okay,
yeah. Just tie it to the pole that I have downstairs and just start rowing as much as I can. Like like in the wrestling, we do the head snaps, a lot of head snaps. So the same thing, I'll put it on the top and just keep going, like the skiing machine that we have that we had in the gym. So I always do the same thing. It's the same as just the resistance band. So it's like you just go back, put it up, and just keep going, and yeah, just do 15 minutes, 1 minute, 10 seconds rest, and just keep going as fast as possible as you can. So minimum is like 100 reps every 1 minute or 110 reps, especially like we go so fast.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Fair play,
Well,
bro. That's crazy.
that used to be my routine back in the gym. 30 minutes, 1 minute each. So 1 minute rowing, the rowing machine, and 1 minute on the skiing machine. So it's like for 30 minutes straight. So it's like 15 minutes on each one, and no rest in between. So that's how I usually used to do. I took that program from AK America. We used to do 1 minute on the airline bike and then 1 minute on whatever we want, like ground and pound, or we wrestle between rounds for 1 minute, or punching bag, anything. But I found it better, like if I don't have any training partners, I'll do skiing for my wrestling. So it actually helps me a lot with the head snaps and upper body clenching.
Fair play to you, mate. Yeah, it's nice to hear because there's obviously, I'm not going to name any names, but I know quite a few fighters who aren't doing as much as say what you're doing. So by keeping yourself in this routine, keeping fit, keeping strong, do you feel like when this all gets lifted, you could come back, you'll come back at the advantage of, staying in fight shape this whole time?
Well, maybe. The only problem is that I'm still eating, well, which Easter came in. So the weight came up as I usually go. So I usually go up around 78, 79 kg. I fight at 66, but I'm dropping down to 61 eventually. So usually off seasons, I go up to 78, 79. But although I'm not training that much as I used to train a lot more harder when we have all the equipment, all the gyms, and all the training partners. I used to train a lot more. So, but yeah, let's hope it doesn't take long to finish this stuff, or at least we can at least start training with our training partners, and we start fighting at least. That would be great. So.
Yeah, no, it's all good training by yourself, but obviously sometimes you need someone who's actually going to throw shots back at you and, try and take you down and things like that.
Yeah, I would like to have at least one training partner, at least just one, so I can actually like wrestle a lot and maybe start doing like boxing a little bit. I was gonna get my friends from my country, from Malta, to here like 1 week before everything closed. And actually, thank God I didn't pay for anything because I was gonna pay for them to come here. My boxing coach, and like he was my training partner as well, so he was coming here to help me out. But at least they announced, so I had to cancel everything. So I was like, okay, I can't get you here yet. I'll get you next time though.
Yeah, if he came the week before, he'd be locked down with you in your house right now. So you at least you've been able to train together without sounding selfish. That'd be nice.
Yeah, but that would have been bad because still he couldn't get paid.
No,
So he
true.
wouldn't get paid here, yeah. So that's the thing, at least, and he has to see his family. So
That's it. So how is all your family in Malta at the moment? Everyone well and healthy?
yeah, they're all good. They're all good actually. They're following the regulations, staying at home. My dad went on the other island, Gozo. He had some work to do. He'll be back hopefully. I think the end of the week as well. He's building a place. So yeah, my mom is staying at home in Malta, and she's okay. Grandparents are staying at home. They're locked down literally. But yeah, that's it. Everybody is okay.
That's the main thing, mate. Everyone's just doing what they have to do, staying indoors. And I'm looking out the window. The weather's really nice today. It has been all week. What's it been like up there in your part of the country? You're up in Liverpool, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm living in the world, so it's really
That's it.
close. Very nice actually. It's actually very nice. Every time, actually, before, so when we were fighting before my last fight, and it was all raining and all this, and now when it started the quarantine, everywhere is nice, no rain at all. I'm like, what is this now? Really? Is
Yeah,
the
no,
is
this
the real is the climate doing jokes on us anyway?
this
Tempting
is
us to
the
get out?
it's the English way, mate. As soon as the sun comes out, we all have to stay indoors, and then the minute the sun goes in, we're back out again. So enjoy the summer while you can out the window. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
It's okay for your guy. It's okay for your family back in Malta, man, because it's beautiful weather all the time. Beautiful country, and again, it still must be tough though for some people in this lovely weather not to go out. But let's just hope they all stay in. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck here for another 3 weeks.
Oh yeah. Hopefully they don't do the same as we're doing. Back home, some of the people actually are going to swimming because it's so hot. They're actually jumping in the water, but they're going in couples, and they're saying don't try to go in couples. We're not in lockdown in our country. We're not in lockdown in Malta, but because of the crowds that now I'm hearing that a lot of people are going in crowds, the government might actually do a lockdown just to tell them, listen, we have to put this thing down, and you're actually causing it more. So you're going in groups. We told you not to go to groups, so they might do a lockdown just for 1 week, just to tell them, listen, you cannot go in groups. Here in the UK, at least, well, out here, I'm not seeing a lot of group people. They're actually being like maybe one or two maximum are two people together, but nothing a large group. So they're actually following the regulations here in the area. So, but hopefully everything will be good because I've seen the death rates in London, in England, is getting higher, and I'm actually getting worried because a lot of people are actually dying here than getting infected, which is kind of strange, really.
Yeah, mate, it's a crazy situation. This is the biggest thing that's happened to us in my lifetime. Like, when have you known a virus to make everyone stay in their houses, and not go out? That's some serious power.
Yeah, I mean, the last one that I've seen, because I've checked when somebody actually got posted in the beginning of coronavirus, they actually posted something. I was actually intrigued. Like 100 years ago, there was the Spanish flu in World War One. I was exactly like near World War One. So this epidemic. So every 100 years, and there's 100 years before there was something else, and I was like, oh
I've
shit!
seen
Every
it.
100 years,
Yeah, I
every
saw it.
100 years, something's happening. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some
Well,
sort of pandemic, isn't there?
yeah, it is actually crazy though. This one is a bit th- this might not be deadly for young people, healthy people, and mostly people like me and others that we won't die from it. But yeah, it's a bit dangerous for the elderly and people who have some conditions, which is um which is very bad. I'm actually worried about my grandfather and my grandparents. Although they're staying inside, they didn't get it, but still, that's the thing that I'm actually getting worried about, that they're the only people at risk from my family.
That's it, mate. But we just, as I said, they're doing the right thing. They're staying in, and it's definitely a sad time for everyone. But again, I think we find out in the UK on Thursday what the situation's going to be going forward. Lots of other countries have extended it for 3 more weeks. I'm sure we'll be following suit, unfortunately. But hey, let's not worry about that, bud. Hopefully it'll be lifted soon, and we can start seeing you fight again in the cage. Because what I want to talk to you about as well is, so you're from Malta originally. Were you born over there?
Yeah, I was born over there.
So tell us like the story of Malta martial arts coming to UK, stuff like that.
So I was, if I'm not mistaken, I was at the end of 16 years. If I'm not mistaken, I had 16. I was a bit fat. Well, not a bit. I was fat. Never watched any MMA, or I never actually heard about MMA from that point. I always was intrigued about the wrestling, the WWE side, and the wrestling, the freestyle wrestling. I actually was watching them both, and I actually liked both of them. So, and I've saw Brock Lesnar that went in the UFC, and I've seen him use the wrestling in an MMA cage, and I was like, wow, that's real. That's how fighting is, because I knew what boxing is, I knew what kickboxing is. They were so popular, and then when they put at UFC, I was like, oh wow, this is good. Wrestling is effective in MMA, and back then, wrestling was so much more like a dominant in the back in the years. The wrestling was so much more dominant than ever. So when I saw Brock Lesnar, I was like, oh wow, is there any schools of MMA so I can actually learn something? I would like to learn it just for myself. And another thing, I was bullied when I was young, so the thing that I said, oh, is there an effective thing to defend myself as well? So one of my friends, actually 1 week after, I don't know how, we were at the secondary school, and no, sorry, the post secondary school. He said, "Oh, I do MMA," and I went to the academy, and my country. He actually, my coach was from England. He's in London, actually. He lives in London near Crystal Palace. He fought on Cage Fury, actually, like 3 times or 4. Yeah, his name is Ed Smith. He's actually one of my best friends, and I was going to go there to watch him with UFC and in London. I was going there to see it with him. We started training together, so I was doing a lot of improvement, and I started competing after 8 months in grappling, and then from there, did MMA 1 year later, kept winning, had 3 amateur fights, won them all, semi-pro fight won, and then MMA just stopped for a bit. Our school our coach actually had to go to London because he had some things to do. So I didn't have any MMA coach or anything. So I started going boxing alone, kickboxing alone, wrestling with the national wrestling team, jiu-jitsu with the jiu-jitsu team and all. And I started competing a lot in IBJJF instead. And as everybody knows, it costs a lot of money to compete because I had to travel to UK or to Italy for the European Championships, and had to pay for the lodging, and for to compete was like 80, no, I think it was 90 euros to compete in the gi, and then if you compete in the no gi as well, so you get like a 85 each, so 85 times 2, well, which for me 170 euros. So yeah, it's just to compete, and if you lose to one round, it's over. So I did that, and I won the British Championships in the first time ever when I went there. Had 4 matches, and then did the Europeans. I was still white belt, but I wanted to do the no-gi because I was better in no-gi because of my wrestling was so much more better. So I went there. As a white belt, I competed against the blue belts. So because I couldn't, and they didn't find out. The IBGF didn't know because I registered as a blue, and my coach told me first there's a blue. So I went there. I came third with all the blues. I had 3 matches, won the first 2 and lost the third one. And everybody was asking me, "Oh, how long have you been blue belt or anything?" And I said, "No, I'm not. I'm just a white." Yeah, well, now. Then I got my blue, and then I did 2 more. Had a bad training camp for the other Europeans, man. The 2017, if I'm not mistaken, because I did the 2017 as well, Europeans. Didn't do that much good. Came third again. But I felt my performance was so different, and my training partners weren't. They weren't that. They were different. The competition and the training partners were so much different that it was very. Like in training, I would do so much great, but then in competition, I was doing the same, but the competition was so much high, and they were only blue belts. So I decided to do a training camp in AKA for 3 weeks because I save a lot of money. The only money I spend on is for my training equipment and my training, and for my supplementation. But that's all I do. So I don't go out that much. I'm very boring. Let's put it this way: I am very boring. But no, but I don't know why. Maybe because I don't like to drink at all.
Same as me. Yeah, man. Just train, man. That's what you got to do, you know.
Yeah, and then I went to AKA for 3 weeks, and I was actually happy because I was preparing for my pro fight actually, because I had a pro fight coming up. First time ever in my country had a show. It's called Centurion, and they invited me to fight there. So I said, okay, I don't have any training partners here, so I need to go somewhere. And I said, okay, I'll choose the best gym and my favorite fighters, which is AKA. There's Daniel Cormier, Cain Velasquez,
Khabib and all them guys.
I met Khabib on my if I'm not mistaken, was the second, I think. Yeah, it was my second there when I went for. No, sorry, it was my third. So the first time I was for 3 weeks. Then the next following year, I went for 2 weeks in January just to get some stuff ready for my upcoming. And then after, I spent 3 weeks back home, and then I went for 3 months straight there training camp in America with AKA. So I spent 3 months with AKA in America, where there was Khabib training for Tony Ferguson, but it fell out and he fought Aya Quinta in there.
Yeah.
So so that's how it was doing an AK, and then after that, finished it. Did 2 months again at AK as well. The following year, I did another 2 months in AK, or 2 months and a half. Finished it. Then I said, because I didn't have any money to go to America because it cost a lot of money. The lodging was incredibly, it was so much. I couldn't afford it. The training was great. It wasn't that much expensive, the training. So it was great. There was a lot of sponsorships in America that actually helped me out, giving me some free stuff, so I didn't need to buy them. Yeah. Then after that, I decided.
Sorry, man. No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I want to hear the rest of the story, but I just want to quickly ask, at AKA sort of thing, obviously you're a fantastic grappler and you got some of the best grapplers in the world that are at AKA. Did you manage to do any training with like people like DC and all them sort of guys in wrestling sort of things?
Yeah, but DC and Kane, they're bigger, so they actually coached us and all that.
Oh yeah, I appreciate the heavyweights. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I did some grappling with so I did with Umar, Islam Makachev, Luis Pena. Me and him, we did a lot of actually MMA and grappling, but we sparred a lot of MMA. Me and him when I was there. Actually, I had a lot of fun with him because personally, I think he helped me a lot to even understand that there are a lot of taller fighters in my category, in my division, which he dropped to the featherweight division. I was actually, well, he is very tall, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's tall," and I was like, "Oh yeah, you think he's tall? Look at me and look at him, and we're the same way, are we?" But yeah, I enjoyed him, and there was a lot more. Kyle Driscoll, he's actually good, and I think he's very close to getting in the UFC. Actually, he actually announced something that he's gonna be in UFC. Like maybe he was supposed to be actually this year, but yeah, I actually enjoyed doing as well with him as well. Who did I train with? Oh yeah, Bunch, Sean Bunch, the 2008 Olympic alternate wrestler. That was, oh yeah, I wrestled with him as well. Man, that was great. I mean, that for me, that was an experience that I just enjoy. Like it was every like for wrestling sessions, we would do some wrestling me and him, and I actually enjoyed it because he did some stuff to me that I was like, oh wow, how did he do it? Actually, I thought I was in a good position at this point, but I knew in my head every time that if I get something, it's either he's letting me do it or he's letting me do it to get me countered. So I was actually appreciating every tip that he was giving me, and even Kyle Crutchmer gave me some tips. Sometimes he was watching me and he was like, listen, you should do this instead of this, and I was asking him. He was like saying they're big names, and but they'll still help me, which I didn't. Nobody knew who I was. But then from the third time, they actually was like, oh, Matthew is coming here again. You know, they would, even from the second time, they already know, oh, Matthew is back here. Oh, the third time and all this. So they would actually, you know, recognize you. And Javier Mendez as well helped me out as well a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually happy, want to go to see them again, hopefully. But once I'll get some money, I'll just go up there. Then I went to AKA Thailand last year as well. Last year I spent 5 months in AKA Thailand. So last year I didn't even spend that much time at home, but maybe 3 months only. I think it's no 4 months at home only, and the rest was abroad. It was in AKA Thailand. I met with Manel Cap. I did,
Yeah.
yeah, I did the training camp with him for the not the championship fight, the one before it. I forgot his name. He was in the UFC. He's a Japanese fighter. He was in the UFC, but I did the whole training camp before the championship fight. Then I left for like 2 months, no, 1 month and a half before the fight for the championship happened. Yeah, I met new coaches. A jiu-jitsu coach, Mauricio Cesaro, Dylan. I always forget his name. Crushore, I think his surname is very difficult. He's a very good Muay Thai fighter. He's a multiple Muay Thai and kickboxing champion. Um, Mike Swick, of course.
Yeah, man. Quick
And a
swick,
lot of
man.
different Muay Thai trainers, which I had some of my favorites. There was like one of the guys that actually was with me the whole time. Me and him were working a lot together. So yeah. In America as well, I forgot to say, I had one of my boxing coaches. He's actually one of my favorite boxing coaches, apart from one that I have my home back at home. Guard Galea. He's one of my. He's actually was my first boxing coach, and he still is. Every time I go back home, me and him we work together a lot, and he actually taught me my everything that I know about boxing first thing. And then in America, I met with Julius. Um, he's a real great tactician boxer, so he always helped me. Me and him. That's because I always used to work a lot, and he always used to see me in the gym. Me and him, we became so close, and every time we would hang out together, we would train. So I miss him a lot, and I was actually thinking about bringing him from America to here, but it costs the tickets of here. The tickets from America and to here cost so much more money. But once I'll get some, or maybe get in the UFC and fight here, I'll be sure to get him here, and I'll get him arrange everything for him. So I'll have my own team.
Yeah, man, that's a fantastic story, man. Like how you've done it all, and it just shows that you've invested a lot of money and time, to progress your career at such at an early time. Because obviously you hadn't started your pro career as such, so you're 4 fights in now, and you've already been to America and trained with some of the best. You've already been to Thailand. How important is that for you now? If you look at a lot of other fighters, I'd say 90% of other fighters wouldn't have done that yet in their career, and that's just going to be such an advantage for you. And how important is it you've had this experience so early on in your career?
Yeah, it actually is great because I can actually develop and see the different style of fighters that there are, and watch from my perspective. The best thing was that I could see how the UFC fighters are, how I stack against UFC Bellator fighters, how they are. Unfortunately, I lost my last one. I think there was a lot of huge factors that I actually did wrong coming up. I should have won that fight, and it should have been mine. But yeah, I think that's the thing that you see. For example, AK Thailand and AK America, they're so much different. For example, oh yeah, I had the AK Manel Cap and maybe others, but their styles are totally different. And even from I'm in next generation right now in Liverpool. They are totally different as well from all the other from all of them. Like they all have their own style. AK America is more focused on boxing and wrestling. Most of them are are like boxers and wrestling. That fits me more because I am mostly that style. If I have to choose some of that style, I would be like a boxing and wrestling style combined with the jiu-jitsu, of course, but I would prefer that style. In Thailand, there's more like a striking, but Manel has jiu-jitsu, great jiu-jitsu as well, and some good wrestling as well. So it was like a whole package together, but like some flashy striking as everybody saw in the fights. Like his fights, every time is like a flashy striking. So I had to get adjusted to it. Here it's more striking, but then there's a lot of jiu-jitsu now. It's less wrestling, and there's a lot more of jiu-jitsu now. So and their jiu-jitsu is actually one of the guys I fought. I came here is the reason why I came here because my fight before this one, when I fought on Cage Warriors Academy, I fought a guy named Harry McKnight that actually trains here. And when I won against him, I actually asked him to come and train here with them because he was doing some things that I was not. Even in the fight, because I won, he did some stuff that I was like, how could he actually try to do that? Because it was very I didn't expect some leg locks, some certain positions from leg locks from there, and I was like, oh, this guy is actually great. If I can fight him in jiu-jitsu only, I would lose to him for sure. If it's only a submission only, I would lose to him for sure. So I asked him to come here, and in England, there's a lot of fights. I wanted to fight on Cage Warriors. That is for sure. That's one of my main things. I want to fight on Cage Warriors, and eventually, make it in the UFC or whoever wants to get me, but I want to make it in UFC personally. So I came here and I saw there's Paddy, Chris, uh, and others from the UFC. So I was like, okay, I can, there's a good level of fighters and plus him. And yeah, they welcomed me all here and actually feel part of their family. And even their coach, Paul Rimmer, I actually thank him a lot for all the help he gave me. He actually accepted me from the first time. Actually, I asked him, can I come? And he's like, yeah, sure, come here. And they're trying to help me, even the coaches, everybody's trying to help me out and getting me better.
Yeah, man, I said there's been definitely some great fighters down at Next Generation, man. Like I said, you've all the way from, I think Fishgold's down there. Is Fishgold still down there? Chris Fishgold?
Chris?
Yeah, is he still there?
Yeah,
Fishgold?
yeah.
Is he still there?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And then you've got obviously like Rosie Sexton, Molly McCann, of course, obviously a big name as well. She's still training there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Molly. yeah. We always joke. Me, Molly, and Chris. Yeah, we always joke around. There's one guy that's up and coming. He won his last fight, and I think he's gonna get a title shot now. He's Adam. Adam Wilson. Yeah, Adam Wilson. He's in the bantamweight division. I was his training partner for this fight. What an awesome fighter, I should say. He's a real great fighter. And
yeah, I can see here he's on a 6-fight winning streak at the moment, isn't he? 2 submissions, 2 TKOs, and 2 decisions. He likes mixing it up. I like it.
Yeah. And actually, I didn't know, but when I fought Harry McKnight, actually, both Adam Wilson, because there's Adam Venture as well training with us as well. Both Adam Wilson and Adam Venture were there. They fought like 2 fights after me. I didn't know who they were, but I actually was watching them, and I was like, oh wow, who are those guys? I'd like to train with them sometimes. I've seen some of their fights. I was like, oh wow, they're great. So I would like to train them. And then when I got here, I was like, wait a minute, you like in 2018. December 1st, you were on that card, were you? And they're like, yeah, you fought Harry. We remember. He's like, yeah, you fought Harry and you won, did you? I was like, yeah, that you were there, weren't you? Yeah, we're in the main event and co-main event. I was like, oh shit, guys, now we're gonna be here again. And they're like, yeah, we fought since then. And they asked me how much I fought, and I was like, 1 year. I didn't fight for 1 year and 3 months actually, which was devastating for me personally. It was bad. Took a lot away from me. I think that was one of my. Yeah, that was my main thing.
So do you mind talking about like why you were out for that long?
Yeah. So there was the Centurion back home, the Centurion Fighting Championship. They had 2 shows coming up. Uh, so I came from AK America, and 1 week after I came back, they had a show, right? But they announced it like when I was in the middle of AK. And I put my name out there. I said, listen, I fought for you before, 2 times before. I won. I never lost. And I always finished them in the first round. So I would like to fight on this card. And there was a tournament, and whoever wins, wins the tournament championship and a good sum amount of money. And well, of course, I would like it because I would pay for my. I would save for some new training camp. That's where I was getting the money from. And they just choose like one guy that I've beaten. So I've been for my second fight. I've been one guy, and that guy was chosen in the championship for the tournament for the championships. And I asked them, listen, why am I not there, and why is he there? I applied immediately for it, and they were keep saying, oh, we need to see new faces, we need a new we need to get new opportunities to other parties. We're not going to give you the same opportunity. And I said, why? He fought every time, and I fought, and I beat him, so I should be there. This is for the tournament for the best fighters in our country. So why shouldn't I be there when I beat all of them, and one by one? So, and they were putting on excuses, and one of my training partners was selected in there, and I actually wasn't that much. I actually was like, you know what? Good luck. Hope you win, actually. And he got injured 2 weeks out of the tournament, and he was injured bad. He had some back problems, and he actually called me and he said, listen, would you take my place? And I was actually ready when I was training in again, and I was like, yeah, I'm on weight, I can do it right now. And when he told them, they actually refused. And then I was like, I had enough of them, and I said, you know what, just forget it, I don't want to fight for you anymore. That passed. I asked then when I came back to Malta, I asked for UCMMA, Bama, and I think I asked all of them, but they were saying that because I have to pay for my they need local fighters, which is understandable. And I was once gonna get chosen for Bellator in London, but then they said they need local as well, and they need to sell the tickets, and I couldn't because I don't know anybody from England, and they're not gonna pay. My country's not gonna pay that much money to come and see me, on the prelim card. So, yeah. Then there was like some other opportunities, and yeah, everybody was falling out. I had 4 fights then in Thailand that fell out. 2 was in Australia, and 1 in Abu Dhabi, and where was it again? And then there was another one, but yeah, there was 4 in total, and some of them were actually accepting. And then 2 weeks before, one of them got injured. I don't know how, but I'm not gonna say anyway. 2 of them flat out refused me, and yeah, all of them refused me. So yeah, and this English one actually, this one was a bit of a crazy one because when I came here, I actually was offered the fight at the end of December, and I said yeah immediately. But it took till February for them to accept. I was actually a bit confused because I asked them, did they accept? And they're like, they didn't give us an answer. So I was here training, and I didn't even know that if they're gonna accept it or not. But then they accepted in the last 1 month, or less than a month actually. To be more severe, it's like it was less than a month that they accepted it. So I was like, okay, I was still training. Yeah, but I was actually afraid that this might fall out as well.
Yeah, man, nightmare. There's nothing worse than fights falling out and people pulling out, and it seems a bit funny. I don't want to say anything about the Centurion Fight Championship, but something doesn't seem right there. So maybe I think you're right to get away from there, you know, and just come over to the UK and fight over here a bit, you know, for sure. Like you had a great fight against Harry McKnight. I loved that fight, and he's a good grappler. I think he went on and won 2 grappling events after that, or 2 of fights anyway.
Yeah, he did Polars, and then he did 2 Grapplers Fest, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Grapplers Fest. Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, and now I actually can grapple with him every day. I actually could grapple with him now on like in training partners. So I actually did. And he actually is good. I can tell you that from first experience, man. I was actually impressed in the difference between MMA fights and MMA grappling, and the grappling ways how he does, because when we do MMA grappling, that's a bit different than when we do jiu-jitsu, really. He would be more and more of a threat, and I was actually very impressed how he actually plays. It's actually very smooth. I think everybody knows how he is. I didn't know who he was after I fought him. Actually, I didn't know even when I was fighting him. They said he's a brown belt, and I was a blue, and I was like, oh shit. Of all the people that I'm getting, my 3rd fight, it's gonna be hard, but I'm gonna enjoy it because it's on the Cage Warriors Academy. So I was actually very intrigued to fight whoever it was. I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna have fun and enjoy. And I seen the way I approached Harry McKnight's fight and the way I approached this one. So when I approached Harry McKnight's fight, I was on 2 weeks' notice, and I actually was going in there. I had a loads of weight cut to do, but when I went there, I didn't even think I want to finish. Or the first time ever, I actually didn't think. I was like, you know what? I just want to go there, do my best. It doesn't matter what's gonna happen, you know, because it was on 2 weeks' notice. So I was like, it doesn't matter. I just fight here. I'll just give a good show, and then I'll get another opportunity, maybe. You know, we'll see. But then when I was fighting, I was getting relaxed. The more time it passes, I was getting more relaxed and relaxed. And I think for this fight, the like everybody was asking me, oh, you know, the hype was getting more higher, and I was like, oh, you know, I can do it. You know, I can deliver. I know I'm better, so I just need to focus and focus. And I said I would, and in between the camps, I said, you know, this might be the fight that I would like to finish. First, planning to finish. You know, the other 3 fights I didn't even plan to finish in the first round or do anything. I just wanted to grind people. And this one, I actually planned. I said, listen, I want to finish in the first round as fast as possible. I don't know why, but I just want to finish. I'm not worried about my cardio because my cardio is always great, but I just want to finish in the first round just to make a point. And I think that got to me where things weren't going my way. I was going great, but I wasn't knowing the time. I didn't even know the time. I was getting a little bit more emotional in the fight, and I was getting like, how are these things not going great? And I was like, man, I want to finish. And I did one move that I know don't usually do. I went immediately, jumped for the back just to finish immediately. I usually stop and grind them, and I just rushed it. And from that point, I was like, damn it, I need to go in the second. Okay, I'll go in the second round and finish it. And the referee just jumped in, which I don't agree from here. I still don't agree with the stoppage because I don't see how you can stand. And I was moving away, and then the referee just jumped in. I was like, I'm still standing, 14 seconds to go. You should have left me gone. It's a co-main event fight. You know, I'm still standing. I'm moving away, 14 seconds to go. You should have let it go. And from the second round, I could have gone. Everybody knows in the second round, I could just came in and just, you know, beat him because he was getting taken down, and I think he was getting tired at one point. I wasn't. Yeah, tough luck, but looking for the next one. I hope I get a rematch against him because I want to beat him. You know, nothing personal, but I still don't like people that beat me. Nobody beat me before, so he's the first one, and I just like to get it back, and that's how I would feel better.
Well, let's see if we can get hold of him because I know there's a few shows going on which I've been talking about myself recently. So maybe we'll get you two matched up on a show as soon as this is all lifted up. You know, I'm sure he'll be happy to. You were his last fight as well, you know, in February. So yeah, mate, there's no reason I'd like to see that fight again. And as you said on that fight, you weren't beaten badly or anything like that. Yeah, you were getting up, and as you were moving away, the ref jumped in, and I could see the disappointment, obviously, in the cage. You know, your reaction, everything. You weren't happy with it, but it's good you take it.
Oh man.
I know, man, but it's good
Oh
though.
yeah, that was a bit. I would always put. I actually was going to apologize for that one because I got so emotional, and actually in the cage I was so furious. I actually thought at one point that after I was watching it, I was like, oh my god, what have I done? I actually could have punched the referee at one point because I was so mad, and I was like, oh shit, he can't get next to me anymore because he just ruined everything. Then when I went to up in the locker room, I just broke down. I was like, how can this be? And I just worked so hard and just ruined it for just 1%. But yeah, but I have no ill feelings for against against what's his name, against Jordan Barnett at all. You know, he played the game very well actually, and he did a very good job. He studied me. That's why I was thinking. He did study me a lot because he was doing actually the things that I did. He was actually countering them a little bit. So I was like, whoa, you know, he did a good job. Even after the fight, I actually went to him and I said, you know, wow, what a nice fight, you know, and I'm sorry to actually, you know, in the cage I reacted a little bit like that after the fight, you know, but you know, good fight. It was real great. But I just want to fight him again and beat him. That's it. You know, not hurt him at all. You know, I don't want to hurt him. Well, yeah, maybe, but not hurt him because I have ill feelings. Hurt him because I just want to win. That's it. You know.
That's it, man. And I said, I know we'll see a different man from you when you got out there. You had some time off. You had a lot of disappointment with things getting cancelled. You finally got this fight, and you wanted to finish in the first round. As you said, you learned from this experience. At least it happened now, not when you're fighting for a title in Cage Warriors or the UFC. You know, things like that. So it's good you've got the mentality. You know, you can deal with that side of things. And mate, I can't wait to see you get back in there. I've never known someone so early in their career to have done so many things, as in traveling around the world and training with certain people. So I've learned a lot today, and I'm sure a lot of people will be watching you after watching this, mate. I'm sure, because you've got all the tools, you've got the attitude, you've got the mentality, you've got the training team. You know, you've got everything. You know, man, and hopefully we see you again this year.
Oh yeah, hopefully everything will be end by this year. Well, I personally think predict like in maybe things will maybe a first show maybe of 40, not UFC. I think they're going to be doing more before everything. But maybe in September maybe they'll start doing something else maybe. I'm not
Yeah,
sure. But hopefully in September at least. I don't see it before. I don't see anything happening before.
that I don't think so. And I think people are more worried about going to big events for the rest of the year. Even if it is all said, yep, you're all safe to go outside, the mentality is still like, no, I don't want to go in a crowd of people still, you know, and that's what worries me. We're going to have half a crowd, and you know, a lot of fighters, which were obviously all the fighters want to fight. A lot of the fighters I speak to just happy to fight in an underground fight club for the time being, you know, just to get out their system. But you know,
Yeah. Same, yeah, man. I mean, if anything would happen, if they would let me fight in a cage with like the normal cage, what we do, with no one seeing it, just putting on the TV or whatever on the camera, I would be actually glad. You know, get a little bit paid, you know, not much, but just hey, 200 quid. You know, right now, 200 quid would do fine. I'll be like, yeah, sure, go ahead, give me 200 quid, I'll fight. You know, I enjoy it, and that's it. You know, I don't need any crowd right now. You know, minimum just to get infection anywhere. But yeah, but that's the thing. You know, even so, I'm a huge Formula One fan. By the way, I'm a huge Formula One
yeah,
fan, especially Mercedes and McLaren. They're my two biggest teams. Especially, I'm a huge fan of Lewis Hamilton. So I've always been from 2007 till now. So yeah, I'm still waiting for Formula One. I was actually when I was watching coronavirus going worse, I was watching Formula One, and Australia was coming in. I was like, yeah, 1 week now we're gonna have an Australia, the first ever Australian. You know, I'm gonna have something to see. So 2 weeks before, 2 weeks before the Australia, a McLaren teammate just got infected and they pulled out of the race. And I was like, oh shit, McLaren went out. Nice. You know, that's gonna be bad. And then 3 days before after, Formula One just announced it's canceling. I was like, oh no, canceled? damn, and now they're canceling, which is, of course, we understand, but I still want to watch some. So I'm actually watching previous Formula One drive, the Formula One GP, everything. And of course, I'm watching MMA, but I'm watching Formula One non-stop, so I can see what is difference. I'm actually getting a collection right now of Formula One cars.
Nice,
It's gonna
mate.
cost me a huge. Yeah, it's gonna cost me a fortune now. Well, I'm finding them cheap, so trying as my best.
Quality, man. I love it, mate. I love what you guys get up to in your spare time, man. And I tell you what, man, it's been absolutely fantastic speaking to you, Matthew, today, mate. And I've learned a lot, and it's actually been very interesting. And mate, I could write a book about you, I think now. But yeah, man, it's what a journey you've had already, and we're only 4 fights in, So I can't wait to see what's coming forward, man. Before I let you go, though, fella, I just want to first say I appreciate you giving up your time and coming on today. I said all we have is time at the moment, as we know. But before I let you go, please give a shout out to any of your teammates, gym partners, anyone, sponsors, social media, anything that's helped you get to where you are now, mate.
Oh yeah, I would like to thank TRR Nutrition. They're new, but they have some good things, good products. So I always would like to thank them for helping me out, sending all their stuff to me, especially helping me with my injuries of my knees. As everybody knows, my knee was getting injured by the time turn where RCR as well. RCR Nutrition, they send me some stuff as well. Their supplement stuff. Antaya Kebab back home. That's one of my first ever sponsorships I got. So I want to thank them as much as possible. Next Generation, thanks very much for the support and the help that you gave me. AK American, AK Thailand, both of you guys, I always appreciate it. And of course, back home, I have to thank everybody from Fight Factory, Home of Champions, my boxing. Al Creed, Malta Thai Boxing, thank you very much. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu team, Malta, thank you very much for helping me out. And of course, the wrestling national team, thank you very much, Jesmond Jordan, for helping me out. I'll see you guys soon for sure. I'll come maybe at the end of the year, in November or December. You guys have a wrestling competition every year. If everything goes great, I'll be there to compete in wrestling again. So, that's it.
Perfect, man. Can't wait to see it. And again, thank you very much from me, and have a great day, man, and stay safe, and also look forward to chatting to you as your career continues to go, mate.
For sure, mate. Thank you very much. I hope to see you again in our interview, but this one will be, maybe I'll have a towel on my shoulder, maybe.
And hopefully it'll be in person as well, mate. So that'd be even better as well.
Yeah, that will be better. That will be better.
No worries,
Thank you very much, mate. Have a good day, mate.
Brother.
Thanks.
You too.